Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back to the Whiskey Riff Lounge. This is Kelsey. Today we're going to be talking some dusties. I know some of you have been talking about wanting to hear more about dusties, and right now there's only a few that I have that aren't turkey. So we'll start with turkey, kind of work our way through some of these as we go through. Today I wanted to talk about one of my favorites that I own, and it is, I believe, 1996, which was my graduation year. This is a 1996 Wild Turkey 12-year export. As you can kind of see the Japanese label on the back. These were shipped over to Japan back in the day. So this is 96. Now it does kind of come with a pretty cool tube as well. This one's kind of beaten up, but you kind of get the gist of what this is. These are the predecessors of the cheesy gold foils. So similar juice, but a little bit different. Now, some of the things that I had to kind of research a little bit, I had some friends help me out with, was kind of the years that these were. These were from 94 to 97. And then also, I always kind of wondered why they were called split labels. But as you can see, there's two labels. There's this bottom label and the top label. So we're looking at what's called a split label for that reason. That's something that a lot of people, will call split labels. There's a pseudo split label. There's a faux split label. So there's kind of a lot of these things that until you get really into a specific brand, and specifically this brand, that you learn something new all the time. Now, I will admit I am no rare bird. I do not know my wild turkey history like that guy does, but I will say if you have a question about even more of what this is, go check out Rare Bird's site. He does quite a bit of reviews on some of these dusties, and also reviews on wild turkey in general. If you want some wild turkey knowledge or history, he's the guy to check out. David's a great guy. Shout out to him and what he does. But let's get into tasting this, and then we'll talk about price point, what to expect from this, and then talk a little bit about maybe some of the dusty price points of turkey, because that's really all that I know right now. There's a few other ones that I can talk about pre Fire Heaven Hill. I've got some other decanters that I've gotten that are defunct distilleries that no longer exist. Some of those things that we'll get into in different videos. But let's check this out. Cheers to you. This is 1996 split label Wild Turkey 101 proof, 12 years old. So right off the bat, there's a particular vanilla note with dusties that you'll find. I don't know how to describe it other than it's just a unique vanilla note. It's different than anything else in new bourbon that's coming out. I think that has a lot to do with the age, but also the kind of trees that were used back then. We're a little bit older. So on this one's been, quite a bit of air out of it. It was a little bit punchier, obviously, when we first opened it. A friend of mine, Sam, and I bought this together and share it because this, unfortunately, is pretty expensive. You get into the cheesy gold foliage blow, you'll get up into $1,100 to $1,300, which is super expensive. Some of the first years of the cheesy gold, excuse me, of the cheesy gold are a little bit different as well, and more expensive. So let's get into the taste. Okay. So right up front, really caramely, really has quite a bit of sweetness, but then it transitions to the oak super fast. And then some of the rye spice comes in towards the middle of the palate, and then the end of the palate is all oak. It's like you've been in a rick house. It's kind of what you would imagine a rick house would taste like, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's very distinct. Until you've tried it or smelled it for yourself, you may not understand what I'm saying. But it is very, very much has a long finish to it. Still tasting it even now as I'm talking. And the thing that sticks with you with this particular pour is the oak profile and how long the oak lasts. It doesn't have a lot of rye spice to me up front. Again, going back to it, you get this really sweet caramel, vanilla, and oak. I mean, it's not super complex as a pour, um, but man, is it good. It's really, really good. So, again, 1996 Wild Turkey. What I will say about Dusty Turkey is that it is kind of expensive in some realms, but there are some really, really good bottles out there for cheaper than others. There's the 1855 Reserve that's out there. I may ask Sam to crack that and share it with me and let me do a review on it because he has a bottle of it. He hasn't opened yet. Also, the decanters. There was so much turkey that it was decanted from the 70s all the way up through, I think, the 80s. That was decanted, and you can find those for reasonable prices too. Like I wanted one, which I'd already drank through, which is a 77 decanter. I still have some juice out of another one that Sam gave me as well. That's a 77. So we'll probably do a review of that one and the difference between a decanted turkey versus a bottle. Is there a difference? And the price differences between those are greatly different. Some of you are saying, well, I may not ever get to find these. There are dusty groups out there. You can find these bottles. Is it worth it? It all depends upon your budget. It really does. I remember when Sam and I purchased this, there was no way in the world that I thought I would ever pay what I paid for this. So we both put in $375 a piece to get this bottle. And we share it, and it stays at my house a little while, stays at his house a little while. But the cool thing about these particular whiskeys is that you're getting to taste history. Now, 96 wasn't that long ago. I know I'm getting old, but that was my graduation year. So this particular year is special because of that. But you do get to kind of see how the progression of whiskey has gone from year to year to year. Even within these, from 94 to 97, there's great differences between them. Then you get into the faux split labels and what years those were, and the differences between that profile and this profile. It's different as well. So it's a lot of fun to explore as you get through going through some of these dusty things. So let's talk a little bit more. I'm going to take another sip. So what are the ranges for dusties? I mean, it goes anywhere from as low as maybe, I've seen some pre-fire Heaven Hill for 250 to 275. If you're not sure what that means, pre-fire they had a fire in 96, and so it was before then. Under different labels, you'll see Anderson Club, you'll see Evan Williams had some pre-fire Heaven Hill juice that they were sourced from. Some of those things we'll talk through as well in other videos, but as far as turkey is concerned, you can find bottles for right around that $300 mark, which I know is a lot of money. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying for a whiskey that's from 1977, for it to be, a decanted turkey for $350, to me, it was worth it because I got to drink it. I got to experience the year that I was born in. Those are kind of the sentimental things, but it will go all the way up to like 18, 19, over $2,000 in some particular bottles. Now, I have gotten to taste a lot of different bottles, and I will say some were worth it and some weren't. But the cool thing is getting to experience whiskey history and then sharing it with those people that are close to you, and sharing and making memories because of those things. That's the coolest part about the whiskey community, in my opinion. I may not be the smartest guy, know all of the history. I never claimed to, but I know how to share whiskey and I know how to enjoy it. And that's really what this is about. So I hope you enjoyed this. We'll get a little bit deeper in some of the other videos coming up into more of the history of when it was bottled, some of those things. I've got a 1969 Double Springs that I really want to introduce some of you guys to, which is no longer making whiskey, but the differences in color, year. I mean, they were putting 15-year-old whiskey in decanters, man, back then. It's crazy, the taste profile differences on some of that stuff and this. So thanks, guys, for sticking around. Again, this is a 1996 split label, obviously, because it has two labels, 1, 2. So if you hear people call it a split label, that's why. You'll also see the differences. I'll call attention to this right here. It says beyond duplication. There's some differences along with that. And then exports with the Japanese label as well. So some are exports, some are US. So it kind of really varies. It just depends on what you find and what you're willing to pay for it. So with that in mind, guys, the cool thing to remember is share the good whiskey. Enjoy it. Share it with your friends. Make memories about this type of stuff. I know Sam and I have a particular memory because we bought this together and savored it and all that stuff. So, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pour. Cheers to you, whiskey friends, and we'll see you right here next time on Hello Again, Whiskey Friends. Make sure you guys tune in to the lives every Wednesday night at 8 Eastern. We've got a lot of stuff coming up with guests, but also the whiskey bracket. So make sure you guys are checking that out and see who's going to win the best of 2023. And we're doing it totally double blind. So none of us know which region we're tasting. None of us know what whiskeys we're tasting at all. It's going to be double blind. A lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you soon.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello